3, 2, 1.
B final, two-wheel drive, leg 1.
So off and away to the B final, leg number 1, led off by Lee Fraser from pole position, Joe Housen second. Keep it tidy, drivers. Pretty tidy start, keep it tidy when you rejoin in. Don't take anyone out. Slight bobble there from someone, so keep it tidy. And tap anyone on the rear end. I was asking to give you a position back if we sit. So Lee Fraser coming around onto the straight. He leads them round for the first time. From car 4, Adam Skeldin. So Skeldin from 4th up to 2nd. Right, Joe Housen now in the lead. Been a mistake. Lee Fraser made a big mistake, so it's Joe Housen. So Joe Housen leads Adam Skeldin. Charlie Edwards, Richard Drury, Chris Woodhams, Laura Hicklin. 1 minute down, 4 to go. Joe Housen onto the straight now. Here comes Adam Skeldin onto the straight. Like in the same sort of pace last time through. So very little in it. 1.5 minutes down, 3:30 remaining. A final, two-wheel drive, leg 1, you are up next. Remember, you'll be called up onto the rostrum, drivers. We'll call you up on the rostrum in grid order. Spectators, A final, top 10, two-wheel drive is on track next. So get yourselves grandstand position around the track. There was some great racing. Lots of drivers in the A final, not sure what to do with tyres since we've had a little bit of rain recently. So mentioning no names here, and some drivers are confident for the A final with their choice of tyres, but some not so. Meanwhile, back to the race, Joe Housen, 2.5 seconds later now of Adam Skeldin. Joe Housen coming round over the jump now in front of the driver's stand. Here comes Skeldin, giving it everything. Remember Skeldin, normally a hero here with a truck, 5-time champion with a truck. I'm going to try with a buggy this time, and making the B final. So very respective. Down the straight goes Skeldin. Check them off this time. 25.4 for Joe. 26.1 for Skeldin. So Joe Housen pulling away at the sharp end. 2 minutes to go. So 1.5 minutes to go, Joe Housen, 4 seconds clear now from Skeldin. Scratch that, I think Richard Drury might be through now to 2nd. Skeldin's had a mistake. Very close. So Joe Housen still your leader. Skeldin still 2nd. So Drury's not too far behind. And good, go. So I'll ask you, very impressed by Joe Housen's fastest lap. The track is, oh, Joe's over, Michael. What have you done to him? Skelding's all over the back of him now. Oh, he had the kiss of death from Orlowski. He was 4 seconds clear. Skelding all over the back of him. This lap, they've got to go one more time. Go Joe is the call from Orlowski. Oh, Skelding's roofed it onto the straight. What was you doing? 0 to 0, Mr. Skelding. So Joe Housen goes round to start his final lap now. Oh, second place is over, it's all changing. Richard Drury now goes to the 2 spot, I believe. Skelding down to 3rd. Here they come to the line. And Joe Housen wins the B final.
B final, leg 2, two-wheel drive.
So off and away we go, tied up with the back of the grid. Ethan's there ready to marshal. So it's Lee Fraser, poleman leads them round from Joe Housen. Careful please on the opening lap. Oh, Skelding. He needs a bit of work from Damo. Oh, magic touch Damo, he's off and running again. So not sure what's wrong with Skelding's car, but he's running and back in the race. So final 30 seconds, Richard Drury from Matt Guppy, car 10. So Matt from back to the grid. All the way up to second. Ollie Vaught from 9th is up to 3rd. Joe Housen 4th and Laura Hicklin 5th. Final 15 seconds, drivers. So it's Drury, Guppy, Vaught and Hicklin now your top 4. Richard Drury, 4 seconds clear, crossing the line now. Matt Guppy's going to get caught on the line, I believe. Great Martian Ethan. So Matt Guppy, you finished second in the B final leg 2. Great drive. Ollie Vaught from 9th up to 3rd. Laura Hicklin 7th up to 4th. Adam Skeldon.
B final 2-wheel drive leg 3.
So off and away we go for the B final leg number 3. Lee Fraser leads them off from pole position. Joe Housen 2nd. Rich Drury 3rd. And Adam Skeldon is 4th. Here they come round to the big jump in front of the driver's stand for the first time. So Lee Fraser, Joe Housen and Richard Drury down the back straight for the first time. First, second and third. Skeldon sitting there in 4th position, not too far behind. So Lee Fraser on to the straight. Joe Housen right behind him. First, second and third, nothing in it. Here they come across the line and Skeldon getting closer in 4th. And Tyler Little going with him in 5th now from 8th on the grid. Skeldon's over. Tyler goes through now up to 4th. Skeldon back down to 5th. So on to the straight they go once again. Lee Fraser, Joe Housen, as they were for the last minute and a half. 3:30 remaining. Joe Housen trying to get a move up the inside there. Lee Fraser opened the door. Joe goes through. Lee Fraser's over. So Lee made the mistake going slightly wide. And Joe Housen takes the lead now from Richard Drury. Tyler Little is up to 3rd now from 8th on the grid. Length of the straight covering the top 3. Fraser, Housen, Drury, Little is your top 4. And comes Skeldon. Laura Hicklin. Laura's over in the middle. Mark the one who was on it. So 2 minutes 45 remaining. Joe Housen 1 second clear. At the sharp end coming into the bomb hole is Joe. From Richard Drury, Tyler Little and Adam Skeldon. Back up to 4th. Halfway through the race. So Joe Housen coming across the line now, absolutely on it still. 2 seconds clear from Richard Drury. A final 2-wheel drive, leg number 3 is on track next. So Joe Housen, Richard Drury, Tyler Little, Adam Skeldon, Ollie Vaught, Lee Fraser, Laura Hicklin, Matt Guppy, Charlie Edwards and Chris Woodhams, you're forward in order. 1 minute 25 on the clock remaining. So Joe Housen driving nicely, still 2 seconds clear. Richard Drury can do nothing about the lead that Joe Housen's got currently. Careful coming onto the straight. Now clear, my marshal Mr. Stewart. So Johansson crosses the line with 1 minute to go. The lead is 1.5 seconds. Richard Drury takes 0.3 of a second that lap alone. So Johansson onto the straight. 40 seconds remaining on the clock. He's extended the lead now over Richard Drury. Back on fully aware. Leaders coming through. Well done, good driving. 2.5 second lead now for Housen. Over the jump in front of the driver stand he goes. There goes Drury. Gap back then to Tyler Little, still holding a solid third. Adam Skelding still fourth. So going round to start the final lap as they hit the line now. Johansson goes through. Richard Drury through. Tyler Little going through. And Adam Skelding. Rest of you will be caught at the line. So finishing this time round as they cross the line. Oliver is 5th, Laurie Hicklin is 6th. Johansson, great drive. You win the B final, leg number 3. Richard Drury 2nd. Tyler Little 3rd. Just wait.